Hello everyone and welcome back to FRL Season 7. We are here at Round 7 here at Gisborne Long Variant. Just last week we were here for the short track. Right here what Man 15 is going through. You can see the new addition. There's a hairpin here just before what is the longest straight on the calendar if I recall correctly. Once again, Gisborne, as per usual, will be a slipstream race, and the most slipstream of slipstream races at that. I'm here alone at the commentary box. My name is Mac. And right now we are waiting for the drivers to make their way to the start-finish line. Man 15 is the first driver out of the pits and will likely be the first to make to the line unless Andy decides to go past him. "15 drivers are here today, I do believe. Although there may be more showing up later. As we get through quali, there might be a few late arrivals. Man 15 now starting his first lap. Apexes it nicely, goes out wide but not too wide. Able to carry a lot of speed through turn 1. Going into turn 2. Full flat, then a little bit of braking into turn 3. Long sweeping right-hander. Into turn 4, heavy braking zone as they go into the hairpin. It's vital to carry as much speed through here as possible, but that corner cutting on the outside can ruin the entire lap. Finishing Sector 1, it looks like Mark Anthony sets the fastest Sector 1. Oh, and he corner cuts through the chicanes in Sector 2. As people start getting to the end of Sector 2 now, we'll see Man 15 currently holding purple, but T-Jerk will take it away from him. Will TJ be able to hold on to it? As I think he makes a corner cut there that could ruin his lap. But he still holds that purple middle sector. Could TJ be looking to put his Max Grand Prix car on pole position? Going through the final corners now. Oh, he corner cuts, and that'll be the end of that of those hopes. Purple final sector belongs to Man 15 currently, but Light Murillo will take it from him and go to pole position with that. Milo now approaching the final corner. Oh, but he goes wide. Gets on the gas just a little bit too early. Corner cuts. Unfortunate. You'll join TJ on the back row of those qualifying so far. But there's still 7.5 minutes to go. As we wait to see if any other drivers will be starting hot laps soon. I believe Mark Anthony now about to start his second quali lap after he binned on the first one. It's right on board with him through this qualifying lap. Into turn 1. Apexes it nicely, getting on the gas, goes out wide, get on the gas as early as he can, carrying as much speed as possible. Down turn 2, flat out, slight brake into turn 3, lifting, then full throttle, going out wide once again, into the heavy braking zone to turn 4. Around the apex, bringing it wide, but not too wide. Don't want to get that corner cut. It'll ruin your speed down the straight. Now heading down the longest straight in FRL. It's important to just minimize the time that you're on the straight because there's not really much time you can gain here except by just taking the best line you can, moving as much space. Going through the chicanes, he does it wonderfully. Manages to just kiss those bullards, but not quite getting the CC. Not quite corner cutting. Going up the hill now towards the slow trio of corners. Goes through the first hairpin nicely. Gets a nice setup for the final hairpin. Gets on the gas and nails the exit. That's exactly where he needs to be. Going through the final few corners, up into the last corner, 2 corners. And he brakes for the penultimate corner. Gets on it. Got to get on the gas in the right spot to be able to just apex that final corner. And go straight to the line. And where will Mark Anthony put it? P2. Gio also coming to the line. He'll go P7. Play games will be next to set a lap time, I believe. Heading to the line where we'll play games, be able to put his car only in P12. Uncharacteristically slow for the driver. Andy with a purple and a red sector. Will he be able to improve? Similarly, Karsten just in front of him, also with a red and purple sector. Will either of them be able to see themselves maybe head up to the front row? Karsten does not improve by much. Andy to the line. P2 just behind Light Murillo. If he didn't get that red second sector, there's a high likelihood he would have been able to take pole position. Unfortunate. We've had 2 more drivers join. TJ goes up to P5. Rookie driver got bumped up from Division 2 West, forced into D1, but was able to find a seat with the senior team of the junior team he had been racing for in West. It's Code Bacon's looking like he's about to finish a lap, possibly going through the slow triple hairpin of Sector 3. It's a good exit out of the final hairpin there, into what is a very long flat-out section, heading into the final corners. Going up the hill now, once again. Into the penultimate corner. Got to get on that gas just right, not go too wide. Just makes it. Almost looked like he was going to go wide there. Cross the line. P5 for Code Bacons. Doesn't appear to really be anybody else on hot laps at the moment. Except, of course, Mian, who appears to be on his first hot lap. We've had 2 drivers join late, one of them being Mian. We'll have to see where Mian can put it on his first hot lap. Mian has a record of getting podiums at this track before, so will he be able to repeat that success and possibly bring his team to the podium for the first time this season? Match GP has been having a bit of a rough time in Division 1 this season. Only P5 for the team overall. Looks like Mian makes a mistake, has to reset. We'll be starting a new lap. Meanwhile, we see Play Games getting ready to finish his lap. 16 Rise goes P14 with their first lap. Play Games will be the next across the line, I do believe, to set a lap time. I do expect this will be much higher than P13. Play Games is a very fast driver, and he's shown this in the past. He only goes to P13, really? Play Games off his usual form. Milo just finishing up Sector 2. Young is also going through Sector 2 currently. As well as TJ, who comes to the line. Will he be able to improve? No, 3 red sectors for TJ. Young across the line, he improves moderately into P12 from P14. JT will be starting a lap right now. Skilled Baconhead as well, starting a lap. Mian will be starting their final lap. This is their last chance at setting a good qualifying time. Granted, this is a slipstream track, so not doing great might not be a huge issue. Code Bacon's resets despite having a purple middle sector. Unfortunate, must have made a mistake somewhere. Play Games appears to be just getting practice out as qualifying is now over, but he's not on a hot lap. Man 15 will be the first. Oh, and he corner cuts through there. It's over for him. Young now leads the pack to the line. Will he be able to improve from P12? Young is looking for a decent performance after he failed to score points last time out. And he comes to the line where he put himself. He does not improve. Next across the line will be JT, who currently has 2 red sectors. Will he be able to improve and put his car higher up than Young possibly? He comes to the line. Does he improve? No. And with that, qualifying concludes, and we are on to the race. And it's 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out and away we go. Light Morello has a decent start, stays ahead of Endy for the moment, but Endy appears to be catching. Almost everyone opting for the hard tires to start, but we do have a few medium runners mixing up the pack. Mark Anthony, Skilled Baconhead, 16 Rise and Mian on the mediums. Everyone else on the hards. Mark Anthony on those medium tires now leads ahead of Light Morello and is with Engie, TJ, and Karsten following right behind. Just behind them, you have Code Bacon's Skilled Baconhead, Man Pifting, Milo, Gio, Young, Ben. Oh, and as I say that, huge mix-up back in the pack as Play Games, JTS get past Young and Ben, but then JTS gets back behind. Then you have Mian and Sebastian Coteau. Drivers trading purple sectors, but Play Games will be the one to get the purple first sector. as he makes his way up the order. Mark leads currently, but it is 5 wide for the lead. Going, exiting the chicanes and into one of the fastest parts of the track, or one of the slowest parts of the track right here. The three hairpins. Most of the track here is all about high-speed timing, but this part is all about figuring out when to get on the gas, when to lift, when to brake. It's much more technical than the rest of the track, and it can often catch drivers out. Sebastian Coteau gets the purple second sector, but Mark still leads ahead of Man 15 and Light Murillo. As we see, Enki goes super wide at the exit, nearly corner cuts, but manages to just avoid it. As Mian sets the fastest first lap. And we see JTSF1 into the pit lane. And he pits, what does he pit for? A set of mediums. Does he plan to make those last the entire race? Oh, this is an interesting glitch. I've never... Interesting. I didn't know that the cameras are not meant to do that. That is quite interesting. But looking now, Man 15 still leads with Skilled Bacon head of a purple first sector as he rockets up the order into P2. Now chasing behind Mark Anthony, and he takes the lead from Mark Anthony. Both drivers on the medium compound, allowing them just a little bit extra pace. If we look at the gaps, we can see that Gio is risking losing the slipstream of Sebastian Coteau ahead, which would mean disaster for Gio, Ben, and 16 Rise, as they would be out of the slipstream, likely for the rest of the race, as Gio continues to fall behind, but now Ben goes around Gio, hopefully to try to catch up with Young ahead, and maybe get back that slipstream. Further ahead, Mark Anthony has retaken the lead ahead of his teammate Karsten. It is an Envision 1-2 at the moment. But Man 15 is right behind. And as I say that, he cuts ahead of Karsten. But I think Karsten is going to keep fighting it. Yes, he will. But he's not going to be able to take it just yet. But we still got 17 and a half laps to go of this race. Right now, the game is all going to be about slipstream, just staying within that 1.5 seconds of the car in front. As long as you can stay within that, you're golden. You're set. You can improve from there. Mian, corner cuts or something, falls behind 1.2 seconds. He's risking falling out of slipstream, down in 11th place. It's a war of attrition in slipstream races. It's about... because everybody's going to be making mistakes, but it's about staying in that range. And it looks like Mian now pulling back time, attempting to get back into the slipstream range, down to a second now, but he goes a little bit wide. That's going to impact his times down the straight here, unless he can get slipstream to try to catch back up, but it's up to 1.1 seconds now. Up ahead, Man 15 is fighting with Mark for the lead. Now Skilled Baconhead once again pulls up, sets the fastest lap of the race so far, as he continues to try to take the lead from Mark Anthony on the with both of them on those medium compound tires. Mian falling back again, 1.3 seconds now, really risking falling out of slipstream. And he goes wide through turn 3 there, into turn 4. He's got to nail that. And he's down to 1.2 now. Just enough to get slipstream, but will he be able to catch up through this? It doesn't look like it. He's fallen back. Up to 1.3 again. I think this might be it. I think that it might just be a 10-horse race now for the lead. Of course, even that, Play Games, TJ, and Milo are struggling to keep up with the top 7, who are all in one huge pack as they head back into the hairpins once again. And Seb is now 2.3 seconds behind the drivers ahead. He is well out of slipstream. I do not believe that Sebastian Coteau and those drivers below P10 will be able to catch up now. I think that's it. They can keep racing, try to get those there are 3 points available for those drivers down there, but I don't think they'll be able to get higher than that. Up ahead, we see Mark Anthony to the far inside, but the rest of them staying outside. Mark Anthony now goes to the outside with them, braking for turn 1, a very fast corner. Got to carry as much speed through there as you can. Play Games currently working to bridge the gap to the cars ahead. And into turn 4 once again. Skilled Baconhead leads ahead of Mark Anthony, Karsten. Oh, as I say that, Bacon gets past Karsten. With Man Pifking behind, Andy, Light Murillo, and Play Games taking the slipstream, attempting to charge forward. Man Pifking now takes the lead as Skilled Baconhead makes a corner cut through the chicanes and is now all the way in P10 just behind TJ. Of course, as that happened, Play Games comes up to take his place, as does TJ and Milo, who are both now who have now both been able to catch up to that pack ahead. Ten drivers all up here in one pack right now. Well, 9, because Bacon is just a little bit behind. Oh, but as I say that, he's fallen back even more. 1.3 seconds behind now. If he doesn't close that gap, he risks falling out of slipstream and being stuck in P10 for basically the rest of the race, unless Sebastian Coteau is able to catch up to him. And he is slowly closing that gap. Will he be able to make any gains here as they head into turn 1, down to turn 2? Well, it's going to be a dry race today. So it's all going to be about driving and just a little bit of that strategy, although I do believe most drivers here are going to be on a similar, if not the same, strategy. Interestingly, I believe Mian and Sebastian Coteau maybe are closing the gap to Skilled Baconhead ahead. They are. The two of them are working together to attempt to try to close the gap ahead. Will they be able to do it? Will they possibly be able to catch back up to the drivers ahead, maybe fight for that P10 position? Back up ahead, Mark Anthony is leading once again ahead of Man Pifting and TJ, who is now currently in P3, heading into the hairpins once again. Looks like everybody will make it through cleanly. Man Pifking goes a little wide, and that gives TJ the opportunity to go just past him. TJ now into P2, just behind Mark Anthony, and he looks like he's gaining. He is gaining. Going up the hill now into the penultimate corner. TJ just behind Mark Anthony, and the different lines taken by different drivers. TJ going a little bit tighter than the rest of them. Still holds P2. Into turn 1 now. Will TJ be able to take P1 from Mark Anthony? Doesn't look like it, as now Endy is fighting it. And Endy looking to possibly take P2. I believe he has done it. Endy now in P2. Even with Mark Anthony. Play Games takes the lead. and then makes a small mistake, loses just a little bit of time. Andy now in the lead. Mark Anthony just behind. T-Jerk behind that. Now T-Jerk makes it past Mark Anthony. T-Jerk now attempting to get past Andy. T-Shirt still P2. Milo up there in P4. Karsten now charges up with Slipstream up into P2. Looks like he's going to take the lead. He will take the lead heading into the chicanes, but he gets a bad line through the chicanes and loses time. And he back into the lead. Man 15 has made a mistake and has fallen back from the rest of the pack, but he's still well within Slipstream, so I'm sure he'll make up time as they head up here into the hairpins once again. Meanwhile, back behind, Mian and Sebastian Coteau are catching up with Skilled Baconhead and are going to try to fight for that P10. It's more points on the table now for Mian and Sebastian Coteau. Heading back up to the front, we see now Endy take the lead from Mark Anthony. T-Jerk now fighting with Karsten and Play Games for P3. As Mark Anthony joins that mix as well, as it becomes a fight for P2. T-Jerk boy going wider than the rest of them. Endy leading T-Jerk in P2, but Play Games is right there with him. And Play Games goes ahead of TJ into P2 for now. Play Games with a tighter entrance. Oh, but he makes a mistake and does not get the speed on the exit. He's now falling behind with Man 15, but still well within Slipstream. Endy leads ahead of Mark Anthony, Karsten Killer, Milo, TJ, Baconheads, Light Morello, Play Games, Man 15. We're now 8 laps in. Those medium tires are going to start dying soon. So we see 16 Rise going to the pits, one of the medium runners. He'll probably be trying to make up some time on the hard tires. Try to see if he can undercut driver's head. Maybe try to get into that fight with Mia and Sebastian Coteau and Scoop Baconhead not too far ahead of him. Mark Anthony on the medium tires in that lead pack. He will have to pit soon for the hard compound. But he leads for now on those worn mediums. Through the hairpins they go. Everybody holding it clean for now. Don't see any major corner cuts. As you see TJ go a little wide, as well as, I believe that was Andy who went wide. And this gives Mark Anthony a chance to gap the field just a little bit, just 2/10. Not enough to really pull ahead, but enough to make you think if he's going to be able to pull ahead once he pits and they no longer have his slipstream. Mark Anthony stays out for the moment. What about Mian and Skilled Baconhead? Mian stays out, Skilled Baconhead stays out. Back up at the lead, they're 4 wide heading into turn 1. Collapse back down. Through turn 1. Everyone has a pretty good corner there. No major mistakes from anyone. See now Light Murillo taking the lead. But Mark Anthony's still fighting it, and now Man 15 and Mark Anthony lead. Light Murillo possibly not carrying as much speed through the chicanes as he hoped. Mark Anthony still leading, ahead of Man 15. With Andy just behind. A whole lot of great drivers here. Several of the drivers here have won championships in the past. Karsten the Killer won championship in Season 4. Andy, of course, has won, I believe, 2 championships. I believe Man 15 won a championship last season, as did Mark Anthony. TJ was, of course, leading the Division 2 West Championship before getting moved up into Division 1. Whole lot of championship winners here, and even more championship contenders. Looks like Skilled Baconhead goes into the pit lane now. Pits for the hard compound tire. Going back up to the front, it looks like Mark Anthony's tires might be actually falling off now. He's fallen significantly behind the rest of the... He's fallen behind where he used to be. He's no longer gapping the field every lap. But Mark Anthony still does take the lead. Will he pit this lap? They're halfway through the race. Mark Anthony on those medium tires. If he pits for hards right now, he will have no issues extending them. Looks like Indy into the pit lane. Off of the hard compound tire. Going to the mediums, most likely. Andy onto the medium tires. Of course, the real question here, will Skilled Baconhead be able to undercut and catch up to Andy? It looks like he might do it. Heading into turn 1 now, Skilled Baconhead looking to catch up with those front runners. And look at how much time he's gained to Andy ahead. He's down to 2.5 seconds from what was several seconds. This is showing how powerful the undercut is, even without slipstream at this point. Undercut is going to be super powerful, and I believe we might see a bunch of drivers pitting right now to try to get that undercut. Because right now, what this is just showing is the undercut is going to be able to beat slipstream. Which means that if these drivers don't pit soon, Andy will likely emerge well out in front of them. TJ appears to have made a mistake. He's fallen behind just a little bit, but still within slipstream. Oh, Mark Anthony corner cuts. Mark Anthony tumbling down the order, loses a ton of time. 1.1 seconds behind now. The real question is, though, will Mark Anthony pit now 2 hard tires? As almost the entire leading pack goes into the pits now, with the exception of Light Murillo, who is now stuck out on his own on old tires. But everyone else into the pits. Will anybody overshoot their pit box? Don't see many people overshooting. Exiting the pits now. Some people a little faster to the pits than the others. TJ and Mark Anthony right together. And now Engie going through turn 1. He has cleared the field completely. Well, not completely. They're just within slipstream. But if they don't push real hard right now, they risk all of them running out of slipstream permanently. And Andy being able to storm through to the victory. Light Murillo could see his race basically over now, as now he not only doesn't have the slipstream, but he's on the old tires and everyone's undercut him. He has to pit this lap. Man 15 now closing to Andy ahead, as we see the entire field getting split apart. Code Bacons and Karsten trying to catch back up. TJ, Skilled Baconhead, and Mark Anthony falling out of slipstream. Mark Anthony, the driver who was dominating just a few laps ago, pulling gaps on Gisborne of all tracks, is now possibly out of contention for the lead. They'll have Mark Anthony and TJ are going to have to try to close that gap to Karsten and Bacon's ahead, or possibly if when Light Murillo pits. Of course, he has not pit yet, but it's possible that when Light Murillo pits, he might come out just ahead, and they might be able to use Light Murillo to tow them back up to the front. But right now, they are TJ and Mark Anthony are just outside of slipstream of Karsten the Killer. This could be race over for Mark Anthony and T-Jerk. Because of course Carson is on the medium compound now, with Mark Anthony on the hard compound. And while Mark is likely the faster between himself and TJ, the fact he's on the harder compound is going to impact his performance. But we might be able to see a late race resurgence once those mediums get worn down more and the hards come into their own. But we see Karsten sets up purple first sector, and the gap is increased to 2.1 seconds. I hate to say it, but I don't know that there's a way that TJ, who now makes a corner cut, will be able to. Oh, Mark Anthony corner cuts as well. Oh, they've fallen back even further. Now they're risking falling out of the slipstream of Skilled Baconhead and P9 and P10. Their race has been ruined. It's now a 7-horse race for the lead between Carson Killer, Code Bacon's, ND, Play Games, Man 50, Milo, and maybe Light Murillo when he pits, if he's possibly going for the hard-soft strategy. In which case, he would likely be pitting this lap, if that isn't in fact the goal of Light Murillo. But this could be down to just 6 drivers from the 10 we saw just 10 laps ago. Mian now setting the fastest lap on soft compound tires in the slipstream of Gio and Young. Interesting strat by Mian to be going medium soft. But it doesn't appear to be working out for him too well, but he has set the fastest lap, and assuming he can fight Gio for P12, that will give him 2 points in total. Which is not bad for being cut out of the slipstream so early on in the race. His teammate TJ now, with Mark Anthony and Skilled Baconhead, appears to have made another mistake of zone. They are now nearly 4 seconds behind the leading pack. With Sebastian Coteau there too. Heading back up to the front pack, we see Karsten the Killer in the net race lead at the moment. As they continue to close that gap to Light Murillo ahead. I do believe Light Murillo they might be out of the race at this point. Will they go into the pits? They do. Light Murillo into the pits. Will they be going to soft compound tires? We can see JT parked in his garage right there. Light Murillo pits onto the soft compound. And he is way behind everyone else. Staying out that long has cost him. But will those soft tires allow him to make up the time he's lost? Going back ahead to that P7 group. 4 cars here fighting for P7. It's the most points they can likely get. But heading back up to the front, we do in fact see 6 drivers fighting for the lead right now. Play Games collapses from the front all the way to the back in just a few corners. That's how tight it is up here. One little mistake can take you from the front all the way to the back of this lead group. Of course, you can see that smaller group not terribly far behind them. 4 seconds now. Wait, no, sorry. Yeah, 3.8 seconds. They aren't terribly far behind. All it would take would be a few mistakes, like what Man 50's just done right there. He's just fallen back. That's going to close the gap. If one of these drivers can now get a good run, it's possible for them to be able to catch back up. But Man 15 will, of course, slowly be reel himself back into the group ahead, making use of slipstream, especially as we start getting to 2 of the longer straights on the track, as we get to the pit straight. Man 15 closes 2/10 in that straight. On to the next one here as they head down into turn 2, all the way down the hill. Play Games currently leads ahead of Milo. Milo takes the lead into the straight. Man 15 with the slipstream. I have just noticed, I don't know how long it's been the case, but I have just noticed that Ben is not here. I'm not sure if he was racing or not, but I have just noticed he's not in the server right now. I don't know how old that is. We're on lap 16 of 20 currently. Once they cross the line, it'll be 4 laps to go. That gap from the P7 gap up to the P1 group has gone down to just 3.4 seconds, up to 3.5 now. It is slowly closing, but I don't think they'll be able to find themselves within time. Of course, Code Bacons makes some sort of mistake. No! Must have been a glitch of the timing system, as now he skyrockets into the lead ahead of Play Games. Any of these 7 drivers could walk away with a win, and if they get lucky, we could see some all the way to P10 could also possibly go for it. But any of the 6 drivers up top could possibly try to get that win. Limerillo is, of course, trying to make up time, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. Still not within the slipstream of the P7 group. And with only 3.5 laps to go left for Limerillo, I do believe that their hopes of a win are over at this point. But they might still be able to do it. They might still be able to close that gap, as they do now get within slipstream. And if Limerillo is able to possibly tow ahead the rest of the drivers, tow them towards the front pack, we could see this race go wide open for 5 drivers who thought their hopes were over, but could be opened up if Limerillo is able to get ahead and help catch that front pack. Now we see all the drivers going through. Man 15 nearly corner cutting, just missing it. Back behind, we see some other drivers nearly corner cutting, still just missing those triggers. Mark Anthony has fallen behind on the hard compound. And Mian, with the fastest lap, is holding on to P12. As long as he holds on to P12, he will gain 2 points. But Young is fighting him real hard for it. We'll have to see which one of them is able to come out on top for the 2 points. Oh, who's that? Is that JT? That is JT. Don't know what he's doing. Just sitting there, I guess. Back up to the league. We have Code Bacon in P2 just behind Karsten, going through the chains right now. And now Karsten's still leading. They're heading into the hairpins right now. And Milo appears to make a mistake, lose a decent amount of time, as does Man 15. But they've still got the slipstream to catch back up. But these little mistakes might just be giving those chances to Light Murillo. And now Sebastian Cateau and T-Jerk, who are getting towed along by him, might give them the chances to try to catch back up, as now that gap is closing even further, down to 3.1 seconds. And with Light Murillo now being the lead of that pack, we could see it close more through those corners. Sebastian Cateau goes really wide through the final corner. As now we got 2 laps to go. This is the penultimate lap, and we see Karsten is still leading that front pack. But all it takes is one mistake. All it takes is one mistake. Just hitting the inside, and JT is still sitting there on the outside of turn 3. Watching closely now as we're waiting to see if any of these drivers are going to crack under the pressure, make a major mistake. Corner cut on the inside of any of the chicane corners up here. They all make it through cleanly this time. Light Murillo closing that gap quickly, with Sebastian Cateau and T-Jerk, Mark Anthony, all trying to get that slipstream and bring themselves back up. Gap is down to 2.5 seconds and likely to decrease even more going through these the slow corners where Light Murillo's soft tires will really come into their own, and it does decrease further down to 2.3. But I don't think it'll be enough, as we're going to be approaching the final lap now. I don't think Light Murillo will be able to catch up. Milo currently leads into the final lap of the race as they come to the line. Goes a little bit wide. Will we see anybody corner cut back there? Nope, doesn't look like it. TJ was not the best corner, but still in the slipstream of Sebastian Cateau. Up at the front. Man 15 currently leads, but makes a mistake through the corner, which gives the lead to Karsten. Playgame's just behind him. Man 15 still in P3. Looks like Playgames now takes the lead, heading into turn 2 and through turn 3. Playgame's going a little bit wide, missing the apex. That gives the lead to Code Bacons. Into turn 4, heavy braking zone. They're turning. Are you going to see anybody corner cut? Doesn't look like it. Endy a little bit behind. And I believe that's gifted slipstream to Light Murillo, who's now going to have slipstream down the longest straight on the calendar. Endy now catching back up. Going through these chicanes for the final time. Code Bacons goes very wide, loses a ton of time. This is gifted slipstream to Sebastian Cateau and Light Murillo, as the two of them are both trying their hardest to try to catch back up, try to do anything they can to try to get back to that lead group. Milo leading through the corner, leading through. Oh, we see, who is that? Playgames making a small corner cut. Milo goes wide, loses time. Man 15 now leads from Playgames and Andy. Man 15's got a decent gap right now. But we're going to be heading into the final corner right now. As they're now braking, it's all going to be about the exit here. It's all going to be about the exit. As they try to get on the gas as early as they can. Man 15 leads. I don't think anyone has the speed to catch him, except maybe Man 15 wins from Karsten. Mark Anthony just loses to TJ on the line. Meehan and Young fighting over the last points position. And it looks like Mian might be taking it. Geo possibly taking P14? No. Mian manages to clutch P13. 16 Rise goes into the pits here on the final lap with JT 7 laps down. He's actually going to finish the race. And he's going to wall ride around the final corner. Epic. Wicked. He's going to wall ride it. 16 Rise finishes, and the last one across the line, JTSF1, who decides that he's not going to go across the line. He's going to do a lap in reverse. But man 15 wins as JTS actually goes into the pits. But man 15 wins just ahead of Karsten the Killer. So man 15 wins just ahead of Karsten the Killer and Milo Milo. Play games P4 with Engie in a respectable P5. Bacon's last of the lead pack in P6, with Light Murillo beating out Sebastian Coteau just about for P7, and TJ just beating out Mark Anthony for P9. Skilled Bacon ahead a little bit further behind P11, with Young just beating out Mian for P12, who just beat out Gio for P13. 16 Rise comes behind Gio in P15, and JTSF1 finishes the race last in P16. Anyways, that is all for the D1 race. I believe that was a very exciting race right there. Be sure to tune in a few hours for the Division 2 West race. But until then, this is FRL signing off.